One thing I always ask any Chief Master Sergeant that I talk with, whether we're having a one-on-one sidebar conversation or even a mentorship moment, what does it take to become a Chief Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force?
Oh man, I love that question. And the first thing I'll say is you have to be a good senior airman. I'm gonna tell you, man, I never thought I would be a chief. My goal coming to the Air Force was to get a master's degree and be a master sergeant. And I remember Chief Phillips down at Capone Air Station in Germany told me my goals are too low, and his expectations for me and of me will be very high. And so I remember at the time I just had my bachelor's degree, and then I was a tech sergeant. And he said, "Look, that's what I need from you. You will get more education. You will get these things here." And one of his focus was he wanted me to be prepared when that time comes. And I tell you, man, that's the answer I give all the time. Be good at where you're at. If you are asked to pick up cigarette butts, if you're asked to clean clean trash cans, and I tell you, even in basic military training, short story here, based on the precautionary measures we put in basic training right now, usually trainees are the ones that come in and kind of clean the building. And and at the end of the day, that's part of the details. Well, for the last 2 weeks, we had no detailed trainees. So you would see myself, you would see my commander, you'll see other staff members. We pushing mops now. And I tell you, if you're gonna mop, you be the best mopper in that hallway. If you're gonna change toilet tissue, be the best toilet tissue changer in that building. And I'm not saying that's gonna get you promoted and get you more rank. What I'm saying is you're just focused on being the best where you're at, whatever that mission, whatever we ask you to. I remember when I was leaving one location, and I don't want to call out the base, so I said one location, and I got the assignment to work for the Professional Farm Center of Excellence, and they were like, "Nope, you shouldn't take that job because that's you're taking a step down, and it'll mess up your chance of promotion. You got all these things lined up." But the first thing I did to the chief that I spoke to, only thing I did was I pointed to my heart. And I said, that's where I'm supposed to be. And I said, if I'm doing things for promotion, if I'm doing things just to get ahead, and I'm not following my head or my heart, I'm going to make a bad decision that's going to impact me for years. I can be a chief one day. I can be a command chief one day, but I won't. I feel like I won't be happy here because I didn't do what I felt was in my passion in the moment. Oh man, I just it made me think about that.
It is very important to pursue your passion or your life's purpose. So when you're able to chase your life's purpose, do you feel like it will ultimately get you to your definition of success?
That's a hard question, man, because I think at a young age we don't know what we're going to become, and that's just my personal feeling on this. I feel like we don't know what we're going to become, but what we should do is follow sound advice. And so when I came into the Air Force, prior to coming to the Air Force, I played basketball. I thought that basketball was going to be my ticket out. And where I come from, believe you me, not many of us make it out. And coming to the Air Force, I'm going to do 4 years. I'm getting out. I'm not low. Nobody bombs for more than 4 years. I'm getting my stuff together, and I'm rolling, right. And of course, this is 24 years later. And what I found was that my life has always been a reinvention. Okay, a reinvention every year. Because once I get more knowledge on something, once I gain the right mentorship or different people come into my life, and I pursue different callings, I find that I am getting on the road I'm supposed to be on. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be some forks in it. There's going to be some hilltops, but at the same time, I figured out that I'm going to continue to reinvent myself and reinvent the things around me. I had kids, so when 4 years in, I had kids, so I had to reinvent what my life would look like. I'm not going to play in anybody NBA at this point. But what I need to do to be successful within this thing called the Air Force, because I call it this thing at 4 years because I didn't know what the Air Force was about. It was a way out. And then when I realized that I needed the Air Force is when I started to put a little more time and effort in what it would look like in 20 years. The person you met, and I was a senior master sergeant, wasn't that person, 2001, after about 6 years in the Air Force. It wasn't that person in 1995. Totally different person, I was when you met me. But it's all about reinventing yourself.
Chief, you inspired me to become a speaker. I gotta give you that. I know you were a PACE instructor at the time. You forced me out of my comfort zone. Within 5 minutes of that class, you were like, "Hey, you're gonna get up and you're gonna give a speech. So you need to start thinking about it right now." And I'm like, "What? I don't even know you." That forced me to adapt two things. Number one, you always need to be prepared, always. And number two, you forced me to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. comfortable. That day, I really feel like I had a breakthrough. So
And look at you now.
yeah, I become but look who I am following though, right? I found out that you were a John Maxwell certified speaker, trainer, and coach. I was like, hey, that might be something I want to do. So I did it. And I want to talk about breakthrough because I'm very proud of you for becoming a chief, but I gotta be honest with you, I am a lot more proud of you for becoming an amazing father and supporting your beautiful family. So let's talk about that.
You moved too fast to family. I had something to say on that piece there.
Hey, we can go back and forth. You know that.
Okay, hold on. I want to say something. So this is a true story, man. This is a true story because you're bringing up. Man, let me tell you something. I compartmentalize a lot of things throughout my life, and like I told you before, it's I think it's all about reinventing. When I was in middle school, I was the lead for the Black History Month. I was going to be Martin Luther King. This is the finale. The last person up, and I'm going to give this amazing speech. I had a whole month. I took every single day, memorized this speech, got on stage, and I'm the finale, right? And first eye contact I made was with my cousin, and my cousin wouldn't let me off the hook. He looked at me, he made faces, he did everything he could to get me off my mark, right? I mean, this is an entire auditorium full of my peers, in middle school, and they booed me off stage because I locked up and I froze. I was a shy kid. I will never, ever in my life get in front of people. And let me tell you, when things came into play, when I've gotten to the Air Force and met certain mentors, they put me back out front and told me the need for me to be a leader that's visible, that's able to communicate, and all those horror stories of the past and what I felt, I had to break out of that and I had to be ready. So I tell you, for me even to be speaking was something that I wasn't expecting in my life based on what happened to me at an early age.
Well, I'm glad you had that breakthrough because look at what you've done for me and so many other airmen in the United States Air Force.